regards to selling land to foreign entities. As I've already mentioned before, my husband farms. We have a lot of friends that are farmers. And this is a real threat, not only to Union County, but to the United States as a whole. Not only China owns land in the United States, Canada owns land. There's other countries that own land in the United States. Another issue that we have to look at is, like Elam said, is the Bill Gates of the world. You know, I hate to give him any publicity at all because, anyway. So I think it needs to be controlled as much as we can. I think we need to start at a local level and say in Union County, we're not going to allow this. You know, grassroots, that's how things take off. Grassroots. We are the group that can start in North Carolina and say, this is not acceptable, and I'm going to do that.
I have no problem with what Christina says, the grassroots effort and send some kind of proclamation. And again, you know, unless that comes from the state or the federal government, that's going to take place. I don't agree with it. It needs to be controlled, it needs to be limited as much as possible, if not stopped. But I would really like to focus on when we have a lot of problems here in this county, a lot of things that need to be addressed. And you can send proclamations all you want to, but and they may do some good, and maybe some people listen. But at the end of the day, we have some problems here that we need to address, that the county commissioners actually have a say in, and that's what we need to focus on. Thank you.
The easy answer is no. But probably the hardest part is, are those foreign buyers protected by multiple shell companies? And so you really don't know who the ownership is. And you couldn't stop it if you wanted to. I want to take a little bit bigger picture of that question beyond just land. Your school system leases actually, to purchase lots of Chromebooks and laptops. And we go through very extensive testing before we make decisions on what to buy. Pricing, performance, do they meet our criteria? And it is scary to look at the domestic companies you would think about, the Dells and the HPs. They can't stack up to Lenovo, which we purchased. Do you know who owns Lenovo? It's China. It was the old IBM. They sold off their computer division. And Lenovo, although it's based in Chapel Hill, the U.S. part is based in Chapel Hill, the company is actually Chinese owned. We couldn't get Dell to have the correct specs to even compare them. HP, the durability wasn't even close. Now, that's just computers for a school system. But is that part of a bigger problem that's bigger than Union County? That's a national problem. Foreign investment, but also foreign products getting a stranglehold in vital U.S. industries, that if something happens, what could they do? How could they disrupt not only our county, but our country if things heat up further with a country like China? I know that's a little bit more than a county commission decision, but as Americans, it's really something that we need to be aware of. Thank you.
I believe the question says the county, or would we buy and sell land? Actually, the county doesn't necessarily buy and sell farmland. That would be up to the individual farmer or property owner. However, I think that the national security, and for what Christina had said, we have like 21% of Chinese or foreign-owned entities purchasing our land right here in Union County. You can actually go and look up. I did a little video today on farming and protecting our county from foreign entities. So I would support looking at legislation like that. But I also think what we really need to do is to help support our farmers and landowners so they don't feel like they have to sell it to China. What are we doing to help them to increase their revenue and their profits so they don't feel like they have to take the big payday from one of these entities?
You can answer that. Do you think local governments should ask residents via a referendum before borrowing significant amounts with a bond?
If you're going to use bonds as funding, absolutely, that's the citizens should have an input for that. But I think it's important that citizens understand that that model of funding is actually increasing your tax rate, and it actually is. You go out and take a mortgage, your collateral is your house. When you go out and do a bond, the collateral is the tax rate. So if we're unable to meet our obligations as a county to fulfill our debt service or our loan payments on that, then we're leveraging, and you're giving us permission to increase your taxes to meet those needs.
Significant investments by the county should be purchased or built by general obligation bonds, which require a referendum. They offer a lower interest rate than limited obligation bonds or two-third bonds. Their rates are higher. And this day and time, over 20 years, we can use all the relief we can get. Now, I can tell you, on my tenure on the Board of Education, every time we have asked for a referendum for a new school, and we have a 10-year plan to replace our older schools, and we are pursuing a larger Parkwood. I personally support a larger Parkwood High School of a 4A size, which is being discussed right now, in order to take care of the growth in the western part of the county. Because you can't just build an elementary school where they're going to go to middle and high. So we're looking at a new Parkwood of a larger size. But I believe general obligation bonds are the way to go, and every referendum we've ever done, we list plainly on the ballot how much debt service, what the property tax rate will cause for the debt service if this bond is passed. Now, it's up to the county commission when they do their budget to take into account that actual rate increase, but we disclose right up front, if you're going to build these new schools or improve these, then this is at the current taxing structure, this would be the impact if fully implemented.
Well, there's numerous types of bonds and types of funding, and the general obligation bonds are definitely used for the schools and voted on by the taxpayer. Well, it's not the taxpayer, by the electorate. But it does have a tax increase that I do think that should be included in the tax rate. But there are other types of bonds too. Water and sewer enterprise funds that we have, those have been funded in the past by the revenue bonds that are backed by the ratepayer. One of the problems that we have is the county only has so much ability to borrow. We don't have an unlimited amount of general obligation bonds. So with the 900 million plus, almost 900 million plus, that's been sent from the school board to the county to upfit the new schools, replace schools. If you actually, as far as availability of GO bonds. Now, there's not been a bond passed in North Carolina to build a jail. It never has happened. Probably never will happen. But let me tell you, a jail will be built. And I had to build one when I was on the board before. And this jail we're having replaced now. And we've been using certificate of participation. A bond will not pass. It's not popular, but it is required. And Robert Potter, the federal judge, gave us a little incentive. And he said, you got 90 days to relieve the overcrowding, or we're going to put you in that jail. And that jail right now is where your current administration building is for Union County Public Schools. They're in the old jail. So you will build a jail, and it does not require a bond that is voted on by the people, because they'll vote it down, but you still got to have a jail. So in theory, I agree that the general obligation bonds for schools, they need to be voted on by the people. They're backed by the county, but the water and sewer revenue bonds are backed by the taxpayer, or actually the ratepayer. Thank you.
When we're talking about a significant amount of money, you have a say. It's your money. It's my money. I like to have a say where my money goes. If my husband makes a big purchase without telling me, I'm really not happy with me. Let's be honest. So same principle, you know, it's your money. You should have a say where it goes. Right now, the county is in need of a new jail. Do I think it needs a new jail? Yes, we do. However, they're investing, I believe it is over $100 million to build this new jail. That's a lot of money for me to say, yeah, we're going to do it without your okay. This is what we're talking about. This is what the question is alluded to. We're talking about the jail. Now, we can have general obligation bonds, but there's also another bond, it's an RO bond, that the county commissioners can pass without your approval. Now, does it mean that if we go to a GO bond and ask for a new jail, it's not guaranteed to pass? No, there's no bond that's guaranteed to pass. However, it's my suggestion that the sheriff's office, since they cannot use public funds for marketing, is to go wing it. Look at the business degrees, the seniors that are business majors in marketing, and ask them to put together some marketing to promote a bond for the jails. Go to the criminal justice classes and have the seniors, as a senior project, use their skill set to promote this if we want it passed. Again, $100 million is a lot of money. And we're already on the hook for new schools, new libraries, and new parks. I'm not okay passing that much money without your consent.
Amen.
You've heard a lot of gobbledygook. Hope I heard the question correctly. If we're going to spend money on bonds, then the citizens should actually know very strategically, very succinctly, and with all the numbers and all the options as to where their money is going. End of answer. Heard a lot of educated stuff here, but I think that was just a question that we would want to know where our money is spent. Yes.
Here's the next question. What are your thoughts on the fluoride debate in our drinking water supply?
Is that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a complicated issue. There are many people who feel different things about that particular issue about fluoride in water. You have the academicians that think one way, you have people who have their opinions, you have the scholars, you have the business owners that it impacts. It is a decision that is before the board in about 2 to 3 more meetings that they have to go through, but in the recent consolidated meeting of some of the departments that's dealing with health, human services, that is an issue that may come back for further thought and also further study. There are factions in our community for each election cycle that they bring a hot button issue that actually stimulates the voters to come out to vote more so than the issues. You have to know that the Yadkin is the only water system that will be addressed on the fluoride issue. Many of those who have been most vocal, and many of them are in this room, it will not impact the Catawba Basin as far as fluoride because Union County is partnered with Lancaster County in this particular effort. So you can either fly as a bird with one wing or you can fly with a broken wing. But either way, the system is broken and we've not helped all the citizens, and especially those who even brought the issue before us. It will not impact all the citizens in Union County.
I'm currently in support of removing fluoride from the water. It is something that people can get fluoride from a physician, from a dentist, if they want to add it into themselves. Similar to COVID, I believe you should have a say in your body and what you do and what chemicals you put in your body. And fluoride has been listed as a carcinogen, which causes cancer. I was speaking to a lady today at early voting, and she said, well, I need you to know that I don't have health coverage, and my teeth are rotting out because I don't have fluoride. There are other options besides in the water. I'm currently on a well. I don't have fluoride. I don't have dental coverage either because we're self-employed. However, there's other options that I have that I can get it into my system if I choose it.
I think, Christine, the best thing you said was you're well.
I'm on my
And you don't have it in your well water. We need to take it out. It's not necessary. If you can go to the Walgreens and buy fluoride-free toothpaste, there's a reason. You know, it's not all in there. We've had it in the water for 60 years. I do know that Monroe is actually discussing taking it out of their water as well. I do know that it is rough on the equipment, but yeah, I have no problem taking it out. Edwin is correct. It's only right now affecting the Yadkin and New Source of Water. But I served 8 years on the Catawba River plant, and that's one of the things that I will taunt hold up as long as I've breathing, is that we built that water treatment plant on the Catawba River. That was a monumental task between 2 counties, 2 different states, and we really worked hard to get that done. But I served on that board, and I think that with some discussions with them and some information that's brought out, possibly that is something that could be effective as well, and take the fluoride out of that water as well. But I'm willing to give that a try.
You know, I think if you talk to 10 different health professionals and 10 different other people that have done research, you get different answers from everybody. But my biggest thing is, as it currently sits right now, you do not have the option to opt out. Something is being added to your water supply, which is, we all need water to live. You are on the county water system. I'm in the city of Monroe. But if you're on the county water system, you have no opt-out. So I would support removing fluoride. I don't care if the health department has to give out free fluoride toothpaste. But in your water supply, you should have a choice. So take it out. Let's make water water and not a chemistry set.
I think the heart of this question really comes down to individual liberty, and that is that you should have a choice of what is going in your water supply. As a health professional and nurse, I understand the rationale and the reasoning why those people have recommended that, but for me it comes down to individual liberty, and you should be able to choose. There are other ways that you do get fluoride. It's in your toothpaste, unless you purchase non-fluoride toothpaste. Many people drink bottled water, so they're also not getting it, well water. And I would maybe like to explore, is that something that if people wanted that, would there be some sort of program through our public health system where if they wanted to get some fluoride or drops or something that would be available to citizens if they chose that?
How would you work with local municipalities and state to ensure responsible managed growth and the infrastructure to properly support it?
I think you have to work together and have a vision and a plan. I think also it goes back to individual rights in the sense that municipalities have their own sovereign rights and have the ability to make their own decisions and govern their own municipalities. But I think what sort of has been lacking is the lack of collaboration and vision in terms of them all working together. What's the plan? I think one of the things that we have seen is